Some they call it functional alcoholism, but if you know anything about Ben, he's got vision with precision, microphones and a tinkle of derision. You're about to hear what beer can be. It's time for Barley and Me.
Welcome to Barley Me Presents Leonard Malting, our beer movie podcast. I'm your host, Ben Rice. With me as always, my co-host, Paulina Olivares.
Hola.
Of Drake's and also president of the Sacramento Pink Boots Society.
Drake's, yes.
And not with us, as always, our other co-host, Corky McDonnell of the directorMarena podcast. And given our subject matter, do we really need him? Do we need one more of me?
Another white man.
Right.
No.
Because we're here to talk about the beer documentary, Girl Beer. And with us today is...
Hi, I am Marena Domingo, and I am the director, producer, creator of a short documentary film called Girl Beer.
The documentary opens with the question that is presented by the title, what is girl beer?
Girl Beer is actually a paradox. So,
Is it?
yes. Well, I
would argue it doesn't exist. All right, carry on.
it is this dichotomy of it doesn't exist, but at the same time, all of the beers are girl beers.
It is Schrodinger's beer.
Exactly.
It's whatever the fuck I want it to be.
Yep.
Whatever I am drinking.
Yep.
That's a girl beer.
Exactly. So I am a longtime craft beer veteran. I've been in the industry, specifically craft beer, for about 8 years. Service industry for way longer.
We don't need to disclose that.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, my knees are creaking.
Don't even get me started on
I need
these.
custom. I do get custom orthotics actually for my work shoots because we're at that point.
Yep.
And it just the experiences that I was having. I got so tired, and that was early on. I got tired. I had the idea for this film 7 years ago. And then we filmed it 4 years ago. And then, of course, COVID held a lot of things up. So it's really exciting to be able to show it. And getting connected with Paulina, who reached out and was like, yo.
I've been following you guys since since Hop Heart's involvement. Because I was internet friends with her. Now we're real life friends. What up, Jessica?
What up, Jess?
She's so cool. I love her. I mean, I've only met her in real life, I think, one time. But that counts.
It does.
Yeah, I have her number. We text occasionally, so
That's more than
that's
internet.
That counts.
That's
Yeah.
IRLs for real.
yeah. I bought the tank top, the all beers girl beer. You know, I've been supporting behind the scenes, and then so when I saw you guys were starting to do screenings of it, I'm like, yes. How do I get in here? Let me send some emails. Like, what can I do? So I was like, whatever I can do in the Sacramento area. Like, I know people at breweries, and I tried to get you guys at Urban Roots. Not sure if that just didn't pan out. But I was like, for sure, the barn, we had this really cool setup. And so I'm so glad the management here totally on board with it and made it all happen. And the panel was just icing on the cake.
Oh my God, the panel. Listening to other femme identifying people in the industry, I can't help but get the feels.
Yeah.
You know, it really is just, because you do, when you're tableside and you're having those experiences, you kind of do feel alone a little bit. And so when you can commiserate with the other people in the community, it hits me. It hits me hard.
But I think also the selection of the panel, Devo, I feel like she just moves everyone when she speaks. I don't know what it is about her, but she is just this fearless leader in just craft beer in general. Everyone kind of fangirls over her, just they've seen her speak somewhere and haven't met her, oh my God, that's Devo. I don't even think she knows how cool she is. I don't think she does. And then, of course, Becca and Brittany, just such outspoken. I know all those women, and they were all amazing. It was such a great selection.
Oh, yeah. Super grateful to have that just get put together. I was even amazed sitting up there because I didn't really know every single person, intimately, and, their intricacies of how they work in the industry, and hearing it up there, I was getting blown away.
Yeah. I run a comedy show at Crooked Lane with Teresa since they've opened, essentially. And when I tell people, how to, navigate when they arrive, like the performers. I'm like, all right, so Teresa is the head brewer, or she was for a long time, the head brewer and a co-owner. You recognize her because she's going to be the most badass person in the room, and it will be like obvious, and that's how I would describe her, and it like never failed. And she like still doesn't acknowledge that that's a reality that she is.
Yeah. I think that's the thing for most badass women. They don't know. Like, they just are. They're not trying.
Yeah, they just are that.
Like,
Or you apologize for being that.
there's that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I think, I mean, I guess most people, but like, especially women, like, you don't really realize how great and powerful you are sometimes.
Yeah, and it's also like, when you've been that way, people have also told you that you shouldn't be that way. So like you kind of downplay it in that respect as well.
Or you see it as a negative thing.
Right. So you don't want to play it up at all.
Yeah.
Or you get punished by, getting stiffed. Yeah. My husband, he's also like works in the service industry, and one morning we woke up and he was so excited to tell me, oh my God, like, you're going to be so proud of me. This guy started to get some attitude because I gave him a beer and a tulip, and I educated him on it. And then I was at the POS and I was closing him out, and he came up to me and was like, hey man, thank you so much for that. Here's a $20 bill. Just throw that on top of the tip.
Wow.
And I looked at my husband, Dave, and I was like, are you kidding me? And he was like, what? And I was like, do you know what would happen to me? Do you know what happens to me? Yeah, exactly. When I do that. And the fact that this guy changed the power dynamic by getting out of his seat to come to you, like all of these like little cues, and my husband was like, oh no. But I was like, but thank you for doing it, honey. I really appreciate you spreading the word of being an ally,
Like, now give me those $20.
Exactly. I was like, now we're going to go see a movie.
This is
Thanks.
reparations.
Yeah, exactly. You learned that information from me, and I will take that 20. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Like, and especially I think as women in those roles, we know, like, if we correct them, it's going to be a problem. But even if we present in a way that's not correcting them, but kind of like, oh, hey, just so you know, like, if you know more than them, it's a problem immediately.
Yep.
100%. And they punish you by holding back your wages, which is another issue in like, just the way that tipping, like, I lived in Chicago and I was a server, and it was, you were making $4.95 an hour, like, just trash. And so you do have to make that decision, because it's a difference on your paycheck. And if you're in a tip pool too, like, am I going to risk other people's wages by telling them,
mad at you?
Yeah, by being like, yo, dude, like, shut the fuck up, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, luckily I work at a place that's so busy, like, I don't stop moving. And people will be like, hey, what's a girl beer? And I say, doesn't exist. And I just turn around because I have 30 tickets on the bar,
I had the last brew fest I did. I've never heard this before. This guy walks up and he says, yeah, I'll have a pussy pour. And I was like, there's no way I heard that. I was like, I heard that wrong, right? Like, I couldn't have heard what I thought I heard. I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, pussy pour. And I was like, I don't have a beer called pussy pour. And he's like, oh no, just whatever's light.
Ugh.
I just was like,
I would shit.
Kidding me? But the great thing about Brewfest is, like, who are you going to complain about if I'm mean to you? Like, who are you going to go to?
If I'm telling you to fuck off and get away from my station,
I'd be like,
talking to?
First of all, it's called a Crispy Boy. Put some respect on the name, okay? It's all about the Crispy Boy season.
Yeah,
I'm a Crispy
was
Boy.
like, I didn't know that was, like, such common terminology that he felt comfortable to come up to me and ask for it.
I can't believe he said that.
And
No,
then
he's a witty original person.
And then repeat it. Like, I should know what that means.
But you know that he's probably had bartenders who were like, yeah, bro.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I got you,
bro.
I got you.
Yeah.
Paulina, do you find yourself affecting masculine tendencies sometimes when you're interacting with men?
I mean, I think even though I am somewhat girly, I did grow up with 3 older brothers, so I do have kind of more, I've always had more male friends than female friends until recently in my life. So, I mean, there are some aspects of me that are a little more manly, I guess,
Quote
typically.
unquote.
Yeah, whatever that means. So I don't think it's necessarily from being around men. It's just kind of like my upbringing. Like, I have 5 older sisters, but they were all much older when I was growing up, so I wasn't, like, raised with them. So I kind of like, I wore my brother's hand-me-downs. Like like my brothers call me Paul. I'm their little brother. Like,
I love
like,
that.
So I'm learning a lot of things about you today, Paulina, because earlier you had mentioned that when you were younger, you were also much taller than people, and you had another nickname as well.
Yes, I'm 5'6". I was about this height.
Oh, can I guess what it was? Is it Paulina?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was teased for being too tall. And then everyone grew up, finally. Like junior high caught up to me. So now I'm regular.
Yeah. Being first is the worst.
My masculine defense is chewing gum behind the bar.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, it gives me just like, it gives me such badass.
Like,
yeah. And then in the wintertime when I wear, what?
I don't have time for your bullshit.
Oh, yeah. And then in the wintertime, especially when I'm wearing beanies.
Accent.
Yeah. When the beanie comes out in the wintertime, I'm like, sup, bro? What are you trying to have? Like, what's good? You know?
We're both wearing flannels, bro. What is it?
Yeah. Who wore it best? Like, I got eyeliner wings on. I guarantee you that I look way better in it than you do.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely, like, especially in sales, right? Like, I'm representing the brand. I've walked into accounts that have immediately dismissed me, where they're assuming that, like, I don't know anything, or like, well, I don't have time for this. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I don't want to sell you anything anyway. Like, I want you to buy the beer because that's my job, but I also don't want you to because I don't like you.
Not all money's good money.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be a drag every time you come back.
Yep.
They're going to fight you on everything.
Yeah.
They're going to like argue why they shouldn't pay you as much, why they don't have to return your cake. Like, it's just all this stuff that comes along with the disrespect. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's not worth your time.
I went to one account and I was like, I'm going to assume he's in a bad mood. I'm not going to take it personally, but he was like such a dick the whole time. Just like basically like, why are you here? What do you want? He wasn't busy. There was like one other guy at the bar. I was like, all right, dude, like, here's my card. Thanks. He had our neon in the front, didn't have any of our beer on. I'm like, okay. But then I went back with one of our distributor reps. Totally different person. Completely changed. Like, then he's like, oh yeah, I remember you. And blah,
Love
like,
to see it.
I was like, oh, cool.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Ugh.
But
it's exhausting.
Yeah, it's like these microaggressions that, like, people tell us we're crazy for noticing, or like we're we're exaggerating. Like, but has it ever happened to a man?
Yeah.
Like, you can't relate to it because it's never happened. That's why you think I'm exaggerating or making it up. But if I tell another woman in the industry, they're like, yeah. Totally.
Well, and it's like, it's totally fine. Like, I am here to help you. I'm here to help you explore and give you a good time. I am in charge of your good time, and I want you to have a good time. Because what happens when you have a good time? Hopefully you tip me better, right? Like, that's my job. And I am in craft beer because I love craft beer, right? And it's totally fine to ask me, hey, can you tell me about these beers? Hey, what do you know about these? Can you fill me in on some stuff? But when it's phrased, hey, you don't know anything about these, do you? Or, hey, you don't drink beer, do you? And I look behind me at the 64 taps that I have had every single one of, and I work behind there every day, from like 4 to 2 a.m., right? And I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, no, I'm just the tits,
Have they ever been like, hey, can I ask for that guy's recommendation?
Oh, absolutely. I have had people, I've been tableside, and I've had people get up and just walk past me and go to the bar. And luckily I've been very, very, the service industry is brutal. We are creatures of the underworld. We have a very masochistic streak, like, working at it. But it's just so thriving, and it's just and we get free food, and like, it's great. But the places that I have worked, the management has been also behind us, and they're like, don't take any of that shit. No. And my burly bartenders who can stack kegs like 3 high and like have wizard beards and stuff, and they'll be like, that's your server. Go talk to her. I'm busy.
That's always so great to have that support. Like, because there'll be plenty of guys who would like, oh yeah, she doesn't really know anything. It's going to be,
it's invaluable, really. Like, honestly, like, we are leading, we're doing the charge. We're moving forward and dragging the industry along behind us like the anchor. But when you have those, honestly, those male allies to be like, yo, because who's that customer going to listen to?
Yeah.
Yeah. like you said earlier, not all money is good money. So like, do you want that guy coming back?
No.
Yeah.
You don't
probably
want.
not.
Nobody wants that guy back in the bar. Nobody wants that guy back in the bar. There's like another guy exactly like. He was like, "Where'd my guy go?" I was like, "You can also leave. Like, we're good." That's 2 seats for people that aren't you.
Exactly.
Great. Sounds good.
Exactly.
One of my favorite things, I mean, it was kind of annoying, but it was just also funny and like embarrassing for the men. When I worked at Total Wine, I was always like the local beer expert at the store. And so there's a guy like wants recommendations or looking for something that like clearly doesn't get, like, we don't have Yingling. It does not come here. Like, just, they'd have a question and they'd ask me, and I, knowing the answer immediately, oh, that beer's not distributed in California, whatever, go about my day. I get called and ready, hey, Paulina, this guy has a question and beer, I've never heard of it. I come back, same guy. Ask the next guy that he saw that worked there.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we still don't have it.
Trash.
For the same reason.
Trash.
Yeah.
I'm like, what part of me immediately knowing the brand that you said and immediately having that answer made you think I didn't know what I was talking about?
Right. Oh, you're avoiding them.
Oh, because I don't want to work.
There's no way.
I made it up.
Right.
Well, nobody wants to work anymore. And
Right. We don't want to work anymore, and we just want our avocado toast,
Yeah.
and
And
why can't you just have
rent
a million
for more
babies
than
and-
you can buy.
God, the average rent in New York last month was $5,000.
Cool. I would like to pay that and then never eat again.
Yeah,
Sounds
for
dope.
real. Join the service industry. You eat for free, you drink for
or-
free.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did love working at In-N-Out, having a free
Oh,
burger
heard. I
every-
bet. Oh my God. So say you do get stiffed by one of those like jackasses, right? And it always reminds me, because it's painful. It does like hurt, and you're like,
You take it personal.
yeah, because it is
Yeah.
personal. But one of my favorite movies of all time, A Bronx Tale, and some kid owes another kid like $20, and he's chasing him down for it. And the main character's son, he's like, "Do you like this guy?" He's like, "No, I can't stand him." He's like, "Well, $20, he's out of your life. You got off cheap, He's never gonna bother you again. He's never gonna ask you for money again." So when I get stiff like that, sometimes I'm like, you know what? He's never gonna come back here.
Yeah.
See ya. Your
Yeah.
$48 tab with like pretzel bites and like, a couple of like Corona, like as close as I can, because you didn't even read the menu when you came in. You just try to order something that isn't even on it. Like, cool, bye, guy.
Yeah.
I have a 4-hour wait.
Yeah. Cost of doing business.
Yep.
And I don't have to deal with your business again. So
Yep.
Is that a skunk?
That's a cat.
Yeah. Oh, there's this cat and a skunk out
Oh.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Nope, that's a skunk.
That's a big cat skunk fight. The cat actually gave birth under the bar.
I saw the.
I don't
little-
think they've rescued them
the
all
belly.
yet, did they?
I don't know, but I saw the little belly.
Yeah, I saw 2 of the kittens last week. I
So-
don't know if there's
I don't
more.
know. Look, there's always brewery cats, always brewery dogs.
The
Yeah.
brewery
Well, the
skunks.
brewery cats are there for the mice.
Right.
But what
Good.
about the skunks?
The skunk's there for people.
Well, the skunk is the that's a skunky hop, right? They're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
it's very
what's
aroma.
yeah? They're like, is there a
They did
hot
just
skunk
do,
over here?
So we have a brewing system here. It's a small one. They just did their first brew day. Did a seltzer. So it's gonna be kind of more small batch brews at the barn. So we're definitely we're a local brewery now. Official.
Oh,
Pilot
ayo.
batches coming in.
I talked so much shit on seltzers when they first came out, and I had my first one, and I was like, son of a bitch. They're so good.
I
They're
haven't
good.
had many that I've enjoyed. I'll still try them.
Right.
Like that's the thing. It's
You
like
don't know what they're doing.
I will not dismiss an entire style of beer just because I didn't like one.
And that's, I think, an important lesson for
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
people.
Oh, well, I tell people too, they're like, oh, I don't like stouts. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. Like, maybe you didn't like that person's stout, and like, you just, like, I
Such a
will
broad
keep,
range of flavors.
yeah, I will keep pushing myself. I'm like, oh, that style, like, I can't, doppelbocks are hard for me.
Yeah. Also, there are bad brewers in the world. And you may
Right.
have happened to
Some
experience
some
them.
beers
And
are
then
bad.
something happens in the, in the brewing process. It's an organic, natural process. It
Yeah.
predates like hierarchy. Like it predates almost like gender roles, like, and yet here we are, girl bear, what's up, And I'll be like, you know what? Let me try this one. Maybe yours is the one I like. Maybe it's this one, the one that turns me on to it. And then I'll be able to be like, yeah, like, here we go, this blend. And I tell people to never do themselves a favor and never know as much about beer as I do, because I get really picky, especially with IPAs. I'm like, I want New Zealand hops. I want it. How long was it in the boil? Like, were these aromatic hops? Were these bittering hops? Like, how long, like, what was your original gravity? Like, all this kind of stuff. And I get so flustered sometimes where I'm just like, I'll take a Reisdorf.
Yeah, I have a lot of people, like, our Flyweight Pilsner is one of my favorite beers, and at pretty much every event I do, I'll pour that because it's delicious.
I think that's what I'm drinking right now.
It's so good.
It is.
And people are like, I don't like Pilsners. I'm like, no, you just haven't met the right one yet.
Mm.
And so, like, most of the time, I would say, like, 95% of the time they try and, like, oh, it's actually really good. I'm like, yeah, because I told you it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to the documentary.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I
It's
watched
fine.
the movie.
Yes. So you started,
Right, that thing.
You started in 2018. When, was that also the year you wrapped filming, or did you continue to film?
Yeah,
throughout?
we filmed. Oh my God. I was working. I was living in Los Angeles. I was working 2 jobs. I was getting ready to move to Seattle, and I was filming this documentary on the fly. Do not recommend. But it was, I had a girlfriend who worked with me at the McKellar in downtown LA, and I had been talking about, I'm like, you know what? I want to do this thing because I had the idea when I lived in San Francisco. And she was like, yo, if you're really trying to do this, like, I will produce it. I will help you produce it. And I was like, tight, like, let's do. And it was literally, we were having meetings. I was like, well, let's film it on my iPhone. Like, that's not unheard of. There have been shout out
Especially
to Tangerine.
2018.
Yeah. The independent film Tangerine totally filmed. I think it was like iPhone 4 they filmed it on. It's amazing. Yeah. And as we know from film school, like, as long as people can hear it, they're going to forgive a lot of stuff. So, and we did it. And it was me and Courtney and Kim. Kim was our DP. Courtney was first producer. And then we have Ashley, who is our social media and now has definitely helping with coordinating and is bumped up to producer hardcore. And it was just like 4 of us like running around. And as soon as somebody heard about it, they were like, you need to interview this person. You need to interview this person. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to squeeze in the calendar how many people, and we had wrapped filming, and people were like, wait, can we get interviewed? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm literally leaving the state. I am so sorry. It was all post-production, and then learned a very important lesson. We filmed at one of the breweries during operational hours.
Was there some noise issues?
There is a B-52 song that's playing in the background, and our copyright lawyer was like, that's a Warner Brothers song. They're going to come after you if you have that. So 7 months of emails, $2,000 later for 1 minute and 8 seconds of a B-52 song.
I thought it'd be more, so not bad.
Yeah, at that point I was just like, just take it, because this has been the film has been in the can for almost 2 years now, but that whole last year was all copyright clearance and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, because it was very subtle, but there was a quick reference to coronavirus. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like, this continued. This is not a 2018 project. This is a longer project.
It went through. Yeah, it went through and went all the way through it. Because then,
That's documentary making. Like,
right? You never know what you're going to get. And people are like, oh, give me an outline. Like, give me a scene list. And I'm like, I can't.
It's going to change.
Yeah.
Crazy
Somebody's
fun.
not going to be available. Somebody else is going to be available.
Like, a topic will come up.
Yeah, the story.
You'll notice a thread that's like, oh, I didn't know this. And then it's there. And it's so obvious you have to do more with it.
Form follows function.
Yeah. Madness. But it was very enjoyable. I think you mostly focus on LA people, it seems like.
That's where we filmed it, in Los Angeles.
I think if you'd made this in 2012, you would have struggled to find enough
There'd be
people
like
to talk.
5 people in the state.
And it's like now it's just like so easy.
Oh yeah, craft beer is the thing, I'm like, I'm so lucky to have been absorbed, like literally absorbed by this industry. And you learn about it and you're just like, what? And then you learn about the women portion of it and you're like, oh no, hold up. Like, you're telling me, like, because you walk into it and you think that it's a very male space, right? And then you hear the history about it, about how it was us.
Yeah.
Because it was cooking, right? And that's kitchen work, that's woman work, you're feeding the family and it... So yeah, and then the whole witches thing, like I was a weird kid when I was like in middle school, so I like always wanted to be a witch and stuff. So I was like, here it is.
All your dreams have come true.
This is it right here, baby. Like,
yeah. Did you read? Is it Tara Nuran's book?
Yeah.
Woman's Place is in the Brew House.
I'm gonna.
It's really good.
Wow.
It's all about the history of beer
Wow,
and women's
wow,
involvement,
wow.
how they've been erased. Especially like it mentions like the breweries that like started everything, how the wives were such integral parts of those breweries
and got buried
and
in the
craft
story
beer.
immediately.
Yeah, like it's the husbands that get all the credit.
Ugh.
But the wives were like just as a big part, like running the business,
Brewing.
sometimes brewing.
Probably also having to do the cleaning.
Oh yeah, a lot of it. Raising the kids on top of that, which obviously we know is a thing. It's a really great read, and it's totally like maybe you can make that into her book into a documentary next year.
Hello, shout out! Hey, if you're listening, author there, like
Turner.
hit us up.
Also, her name appeared when you had a shot of an article. That was her article. She's in the documentary, technically speaking.
Oh, fuck me. Well, yeah, and then you read Randy, everybody reads Tasting Beer.
Yeah.
And there's a little blurb on one of the pages that says to fruit or not to fruit. And you know what? We have it on our Instagram. I'll pull it up. Let me read it. To lemon or not to lemon? There's no clear answer. The slice of lemon that often adorns the rim of the Weiss beer vase goes in and out of fashion. Currently, you're likely to get it in the United States, so if you feel it is an abomination, by all means ask that it not be added in your order. On the other hand, it makes a nice presentation and adds a spritzy character to the beer. I will say that if you're a male beer geek seeking the respect of your equally geeky friends, you had best leave it off.
Yikes.
Accurate. God, we're such fragile.
And if I ever see a man with a lime wedge on his tequila shot, guess what I'm gonna fucking say to him? And whenever men order like tequila shots with like lime and salt rim, I was like, oh, trading meals? And you watch them just
I remember
squirm.
my first tequila shot.
Right.
Yeah, we're dudes exist, and
they do.
Fall into various.
I mean, I'm gonna marry one, I've married one, so
Sorry.
I don't know. Saying fiance feels like a weird flex. So.
I've been with my boyfriend for 11 years.
I feel like it's like you'd be like, oh, my boyfriend, oh, my fiance,
yeah,
and then it's my husband.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
My dude.
You say fiance, they feel like, oh, so you're gonna break up soon because you can't commit. There's
exactly.
Nothing you can do about
exactly.
It. You just gotta commit to one or the other.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
well, if you say boyfriend, it's like, oh, so it's gonna fail. Like, fucking.
Right.
It's like, oh, it's my husband. Like, oh, so you're like crazy. And there's like there's no winning. Like you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's like I have a person and we have rings, but they're not. There's a second ring coming, and is that?
I mean, you guys made a whole other person.
Yeah, we bought a house and made a person, and we're like, not rings though.
Oh dang! All right, yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
we got the millennial white picket fence.
I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I love the policy here on the board that says keep your children within arm's length.
Yeah.
Love that.
Some people don't.
No,
I'm sure.
I feel like that rule's broken pretty regularly.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like, you're trying to keep those responsible kid owners.
I mean, luckily, most of the time, the people with kids are kind of off on this side of the field.
Oh, they have an amazing place to run.
Oh,
yeah.
Like,
they're
get
far
out.
away from the bar.
Yeah.
Like, they're not in the part where people are drinking so much. There are some kids running around there.
I'm not carrying a huge, like, round of 15 flights and having, like, a kid just sprint out right in front of me. Like,
I'm gonna say something, and there's a lot of information. So I was talking to my therapist the other day because being in a relationship, it results in
everybody needs a
arguments.
therapist. Everyone needs one. I have a whole team behind me.
There are currently 3 people.
Yep.
Dealing with 2 people, so and
same.
I was like, hey, I went out to get a beer with my baby with me, and she's like, I might have to report you for child endangerment. I'm like, I went to go get a 5% beer, and it took me 4 hours. This is why people don't do therapy. Like,
oh my god!
I'm like, this. I don't feel like that's. It's like, okay, well, now I know to never talk to a therapist. Great, like that's like a weird, like this is a normal thing everybody I know does.
Yeah.
So,
It's actually very traditional.
Not even just bars, restaurants. People are drinking and they bring
so
their kids.
It was just like
Sometimes I see parents like
soccer games.
Yeah. Oh my
Right.
god.
Do you think the parents
high
aren't
school
drinking?
football games and dad's out in the parking lot,
Yeah.
like just cracking beers.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I was like, okay, good to know. I was like, ideally, I wouldn't have been in that situation. I agree, but like, life is life, and it's a rare beer, a rare 5% beer, and I was like, oh, this is great because I can drink that near my child, and like, no, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Heard.
Seems weird. Anyway, I'll probably cut all that because it's too much. And
Or you know what? Fuck it, don't.
most of my editing is just me cutting anything I say. All right, so Grill Beer, the documentary.
Yes.
You're on tour.
We are on
You're
tour.
all over the place.
Yep.
racking up honorable mentions. You're looking for those sweet best of shows.
You know, it's a hard game.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not bad for some rookies, honestly. With
Yeah.
it, you know, like a couple honorable mentions, short in the short documentary category, and the women filmmakers at the Accolade Global Film Competition. We semi-finaled in a bunch of them. But yeah, it's the most thing. Film festivals are fun, you know. Like I'm a filmmaker and also beer person as well, and this was like the perfect confluence of both of my passions. But I made it for the beer community. I made it for this. You know, this is who I need to show it to. You know, all like film festival goers, like, you know, maybe they'd be like, oh, let's go to the brewery, and maybe they would learn something. But it's for this community. It's a labor of love. I have always just, I'm short. I'm 5 foot, not like 5 3/4, right? And Mexican Filipino girl. And so of course you get like, oh, like, what's this little brown girl doing behind the bar? Like, oh, she must be like the bar back. I've always been a loud person. I was a cheerleader. I got my degree in theater and performance, all loud things. And film is now the loudest I can be.
Oh my god, there's a baby skunk. It's so cute.
Oh my god.
A little baby. Sorry, I didn't mean. It's so.
Yeah.
It was like prancing.
What's that Reddit, like forbidden touch or something like that? Like, don't, like, you know, like, I want to touch it.
But I want to do it.
But I want to cuddle it.
How often do you see a tiny baby skunk just out in the world?
Oh my god, if it was a raccoon, I'd bring it over right now.
It's a baby.
But
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Baby skunks are important, but this is
Baby
literally
skunk beer, next documentary.
right. Baby skunk. It's already funded. Yeah, this is literally as loud as I could possibly be about this issue. Is to put it on screen and put it through a massive inflatable,
Your
like,
megaphone,
yeah,
like
it was
Teresa
crazy.
said.
Yeah, and then have it through a fat sound system. So even if you weren't even here to watch it, you're listening to it, and that's the most important thing. And we're hoping to bring that solidarity to the femmes in the beer community and teach some other people some things. And I've had people be like, I've been with my women friends at bars, and I've seen this happen right in front of me, and I didn't know. And now I can be like, step in and be like, yo. And I have a coworker, God, he just graduated college. So adorable, the sweetest guy, Sean. And he was so happy to tell me, like, oh my God, like, I was at a bar and I was able to, like, turn to this guy next to me and be like, hey, actually, like, and did the whole history of women and witches. And he was so proud. I was like, thank you so much, Sean. Like, you're the sweetest ever. And he's like, yeah, that was crazy and amazing to learn that. I had no idea.
And then he gave me $20.
Oh my God. Probably.
But that's such an important thing about, like, women are going through this and we take on the burden of educating people. But men who just buy into this idea of, like, the girl beer and whatever, they only listen when it's coming from another man. And so we need more men to speak up. In the same way I think Brittany had kind of touched on, and, like, you know, she's the only, like, one of the few black women in the beer industry, like, locally, let alone, like, the country. There's such a small percentage. Yeah. The burden should not be on her.
To do the work.
Right.
And do the education.
Right.
Like, we need more allies that speak up, that look out for everyone else that are underrepresented. We need more of it. And it's around. You know, we've got some bends, but, you know, we need more.
I like to think of it as like a mosh pit at like a concert. Like, you need to box out. You need to box out. So so the people around you, you know, like the trans, you know, the femme identifying, the, you know, the black, brown, you know, Asian, you know, like I don't think I've really met any other Filipino, like, Americans who are hardcore into beer.
We have a Filipino brewer at Moxa.
Hey, yo, let's
It's a
go.
man,
Let's
but
go. Yeah, I mean, still, you know, like.
I mean, even, like, with, like, I'm Mexican. I look like a white woman, but my parents are from Mexico. There's not a lot of, there's not a lot of Latinas. Like, I mean, there's starting to be more. Like, Mujeres Brew House in San Diego open up. I follow them. Like, even though I haven't been able to go to these places, like, I follow them on social media. I share their stuff. I support them in, like, whatever passive way I can.
Yeah.
But, like.
And even Tilted Mash in Elk Grove.
Yeah.
Is Hispanic owned.
Yeah.
They don't really amplify that, and I'm like,
but they do. Like you can see it in their beer names.
Yeah.
You can see like they represent their culture in that way. You know, they do a lot of fun like Mexican style things. They have their michelada beer. They have. They do a lot of. I think they have one that's coming out like Muchacho or something.
Yeah,
I thought they saw.
Yeah, I think there are more subtle things like because people, you know, there's certain people that will like be like, oh, I don't want to go to this place because it's not whatever. They may not think it, but they or like actively think what like.
There's not enough beards or flannel.
Yeah, right. There's like a feeling
like King
about
Kong
it.
too.
Yeah,
right. Like you see a lot of John's influence, like Chingona, and like a lot of the beer names are in Spanish.
Yeah.
And like it's really cool to see. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's that brewery in Arizona, Bow and Arrow. That's like native, indigenous owned and queer, you know, which is awesome. We're here, we're queer, we have no fear, you know, like she, they, pansexuals, where you at? Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, you gotta like box out and give them that space to mosh, you know, let them rage.
All right. Okay. So we're good. Sorry, I gotta wrap it up. I hate that this is a short one.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish we had so much time. I'm like, we gotta.
It's okay.
leave.
It was a long event, and thank you for sticking
Drake's
around.
the barn. Thanks for letting us like use your space when you're closed.
Yeah.
Like that's more than you needed to do. So you're on tour. How long are you on tour? Is it a second tour? And are you putting this thing out for people to watch, not without appearing at a documentary festival or a tour?
Because there's a lot of film festivals rules that say that if it's accessible on the internet, you can't submit.
Right.
So I have to kind of, and with the licensing with Warner, I have to keep it kind of under lock and key. And also I want to travel. So I'm using it as an excuse to go pop around and drink beer at all of these amazing places that probably I would have never been able to go to. So we're wrapping up NorCal tomorrow at San Francisco, and we so far we were in Oakland at an old friend of mine, old coworker of mine's place, Degrees Plato, kind of like in a double entendre because he does Mexican food there. And then we were at Foxtail Fermentation in San Jose. I graduated from San Jose State, so that was awesome to go to San Jose and be like, yo. And their beer is amazing.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go. I think I have like a free drink voucher because I did their GoFundMe thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
oh, God.
she's in Pink Boots, so I've been like kind of casually following their whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
They're a michelada beer. They do like a house-made chamoy on the rim.
They have like, it's a fermented.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Like,
it takes them like 3 days to make it or something like that.
I've been wanting to try it.
And then today we were here in Sacramento. Tomorrow we're wrapping up in San Francisco. And then in 2.5 weeks, we will be on the East Coast. We are doing New York at the Spare Room. We are doing Winchester Brew Works in Virginia. We are doing Dorchester Brewing in Boston. And we are doing Lasting Brass Brewery in Connecticut, who one of the women that's in the film actually works there now. So we're taking it to her so she can see it and feel proud of her contribution. We've been getting hit up. We're going to try to squeeze in a showing at Maui Brewing because they're doing a release with New Belgium. I wish that there were 1 million of me to be able to go to all these places, because as soon as people hear we're in an area, they're like, oh, can you come here? I'm like, I already left. I'm so sorry. Like, I can't like just turn around and fly back. But, you know, the next wintertime might be a little slower just because travel might be a little harder. But I live in Seattle and I have all of my friends there like, hello, like, when are you showing it here? So we're going to plan on a Pac Northwest tour. I mean, the Midwest, I lived in Chicago, so they have such a great beer scene out there. I mean, they've got some history there for sure. And then we'll hopefully try to go to international. Yeah, I mean, the more people who hear about us, like, hit us up on our website, www.girlbeerdoc.com. Same on Instagram, girlbeerdoc, on Twitter, on Facebook. Check us out. You can put an inquiry on the website. You can hit us up there, send us a DM, whatever you want. We'll try to do as best as we can to make it happen, because this is why we did it, for this experience right here. And it's a revolution.
That's why I slid in your DMs.
Yeah, you did.
And you are boxing out.
And
we're boxing out to mosh. Let's let everybody else get to mosh.
What happened?
I was in the credits.
Nice. I didn't see it.
Oh, did you send him in a picture?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, sick.
That's how long I've been following you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's me and my friend Rachel, and I'm just kind of like leaning on her. We're at Sierra Nevada. We had our goggles.
Yeah. Okay, heard. All right. That campaign that we did at.
Speaking of campaigns, this stuff costs money.
It does.
How might a
Capitalism.
person help with that?
We have a GoFundMe. If you look up Girl Beer Documentary on GoFundMe, we are there. You will help it. I'm not trying to make $1 billion out of this. I'm not trying to retire on a yacht. We just want to break even for travel.
Well, it's time that you make that. It will not allow for that.
Exactly. We're trying to break even on our travel. Like, just give us a zero sum. That's all we want to do is to bring it. That's our passion, is to just bring it to people to show them. Anything, you know, it's a numbers game. Like $5, $1, whatever you can give is so so ineffably appreciated.
I already donated.
Yes. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Thank God for Ashley, producer, social media, is in charge. I swear to God, I would not be nearly as far as I am in post production without her. Shout out to you. I wish you were here. But yeah, she runs the GoFundMe. She runs the social media. Probably you'll be interacting with her when you're on there. Right now, we had to do some RSVPs for the locations that were here because they were limited capacity. So right now, that's the link on our bio on our Instagram. But we have our GoFundMe information on there as well. If you search for it, we'll be putting the link back up after this run right here. You know, shameless passing the hat. I was a poor improv theater kid, so you know I'm taking that hat off my head and passing it around. I was also raised Catholic, so you know, we know what it's like to pass the tin. I don't go anymore, but
neither do I.
Yeah, you know, and Grandma and Grandpa are like, did you go to Ash Wednesday? And you're like, yeah, right, like, yeah, totally did.
The conversation I had to have, like, you can stop asking this question. The answer is no. Like, it hasn't been yes for decades. Yeah. You can probably just scrap it.
Oh, you didn't go to Ash Wednesday.
My dad says if I want him to die happy, I'll go back to church.
Oh, classic
it's
dad.
The ultimate,
Is your dad Hispanic?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My parents are Mexican Catholic, which is a whole other level
Mexican
of Catholic.
Filipino Catholic over here. Oh, man. You know?
Can't escape it.
But thank you for having me on the podcast and hunting me. Literally, people have to hunt me down because I'm in a whirlwilling. I'm like...
It's almost as if you're traveling the world for a thing that you love and adore, and you don't have time for everything. Like, yeah, I was like, I'll send a DM, and if it doesn't respond... Like, I've been doing this long enough to know, surprise, they're busy, and they might have not hit send. That also happens.
Real talk, I was so hungover from last night. I drove to Sacramento and then just had to sleep, because that's what happens when you know people in the industry, and they're like, try this, and you're like, yes, and then before you know it, you're like, how did I get home?
All the questions that we never will answer on this podcast.
Right.
Because we all get home and we know exactly what happened the whole time.
Yep. All that matters is that you're home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stumbling distance. That's what I like to say. That's what I like to say. Yeah. Oh, I'm stumbling distance. Mm-hmm. If you're in Seattle, you might catch me moonlighting at my brewery, Own Stove Brewing. It's got a beautiful view in Pike Place. Seattle beer scene is rocking. Definitely come check us out. They're doing a lot of good things out there. You know, very progressive city out there. So all
right, we have to get out of here.
We do. Thank you,
Paulina. Where can people find you?
Thank you,
and all this stuff.
I'm on Instagram, Hola Paulina, where I just talk about all my problems and follow my journey of falling apart.
Yes, every day.
Every day is a new injury.
Check it out soon. There might be a new news drop.
There might be a new health issue drop.
Oh,
what? Oh my God! That new fire. Here we go.
Let's go.
There we go. Look for that new hotness. It's coming. It's not. We'll find out. Testing pending. Yeah, because it's you got to test it before you can put it out in the market.
Yeah, no, it's not diagnosed yet.
Yeah. And then for Barley Me, follow across social media, Barley Me Pod, BarleyMePod.com. If you want to view a website that just tells you to listen to the podcast that you're listening to and nothing else, go for that. Other stuff. Please Talk Responsibly Beer Podcast at Basketball Beer Podcast. Listen to that. It's Crazier in My Business, an advice podcast with my girlfriend and her friend Tavi. Check that out. I engineer it. I think we got to go. Oh, wait. Before we go, this isn't the end of the episode. You may notice that there's plenty of playtime after I say this, but check out the Q&A that was done after the screening tonight.
Oh, amazing panel.
Unedited.
Sorry for my giggles.
Don't pay attention to that. They didn't pick up. I was like, I love it. Every time I do these things where I have to use that particular recording device, I feel like the most unemotionally available person of all time. There's I had a political podcast for a while, and one of the things I was at a conversation with the police about ice, and I have my recorder underneath my chair and off to the side, I'm on the aisle seat, and there's a person talking about I survived Nazi Germany, and I'm just stone-faced in the shot that ends up on a newspaper because I can't respond because it'll pick up on my mic too loud, and I'm yep, that's me, the guy that was completely unimpressed by the Holocaust.
When you're creative and you're just absorbed in what's happening, you gotta make sure your levels are hit, and you gotta make sure
stupid professionalism.
Right,
it's
right.
All right, so this is the part of the interview that I'm doing, and then you'll hear more interview. All right, you know how Q&As work. This has been Leonard Malting presents
Maraming salamat.
Grill Beer documentary. Paulina, thank you so much.
Thank you both so much.
Paulina,
Couldn't happen without you.
First in person, Leonard Malting. Congratulations. Corky does a podcast. It's about movies. Thanks so much for listening. Get home safe.
Welcome. What are y'all drinking?
I'm drinking the Session because it is 10 o'clock at night right now. And is this a Wednesday? Oh, no, it's a Thursday. It's a Wednesday. Okay. You guys, that's just the way this week has been. So anyway, I got it first the right time. Or I got it right the first time, and then I got it wrong the second. Anyway. I'll pass this on.
I'm drinking the Czech pills because lagers roll.
Woo! We've got the kickback because IPAs are the only way to go.
Okay. I was drinking the pills because I'm also quite a fan of lagers, but I'll have to get another one soon, I guess. There you go. That's right.
Great. Well, thank you for coming out. We're going to start with an easy one. Would you mind introducing yourselves to all of your adoring fans here and tell us a little bit about what you do and what your role in the beer industry is?
My name is Devon Buckingham. I go by Devo. I have been in the beer industry professionally for about 10 years. I am the brewmaster and director of brewing ops at Drake's Brewing Company. So you're in.
That's your house.
You're in my house. Yep. Yeah. And so I run production. Yeah, that's what I do. Thank you.
Very cool to be at your space.
Thank you.
In this place. We visited you other places before, but this is beautiful. So I've been in the craft beer industry for quite a while. I love the craft beer ever since I tasted it. So in college when I was working a full-time job, my pastime was picking up a 6-pack on the way home at 10:30 at night and going and watching late night TV and drinking craft beer. That's what I did throughout college. And then I met a dude who drank Bud Light all the time. And craft beer became our passion. We started visiting craft breweries throughout the U.S., really, wherever we traveled. And then started a craft brewery back in the day in 2011. And then moved on to Oak Park in 2018. And that's where I am now, doing I'm the creative director and just doing cool things with cool people. Doing the damn thing.
That's right. Give it up one more time for Miss Becca Scott at OPB. Doing the damn thing. That's right. So those in the audience that I haven't had the pleasure to meet just yet, I am Brittany Claypool, the brand strategist for Oak Park Brewery. I'm a newbie in the game. I've been in the craft beer industry since about 2020. And I am super hyper focused on increasing the 1% that those that look like me represent in the craft beer industry.
Way to go.
So knowing that 95% of the industry is white male, 95%, and less than 1% look like me, a little black girl in the industry. Very passionate, very focused on making sure I create space for those that look like me and those that are underrepresented in the industry and creating more space for us. So thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes!
Thanks.
being here. Thanks for reclaiming that space. It's much needed. So, thank you. I'm Melissa. I am a brewer at Urban Roots Brewing. I've been working in Sacramento beer for about 5 years now. Mostly production roles, and have just absolutely loved it. We are super lucky. We're super lucky to have the craft beer scene that we do, and it's been very open to women in beer, and I just love seeing it grow more and more.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Angel Sepulveda. I am the taproom manager at Flatland Brewing. Thank you.
That's time.
We are out in Elk Grove. Most of the breweries are here in Sacramento, but we're one of the few breweries out there in Elk Grove. We've been there for 6 years now, and I've been there for just about 6 years. So it's a good area. I love my people. Everything's good. I love the women that I get to work with. And I've also been part of Pink Boots now for 4 years now. So it's good times, and I love all you guys, women.
Hi there. I'm Teresa Sudi. I'm founder, co-owner, and now recently president of Crooked Lane Brewing Company. I once upon a time made all the beer, and now I have actually my head brewer is a woman. Her name's Ellen Sherrill. And yeah, we're just out there doing the best we can, and we're about to celebrate our 6-year anniversary coming in September. So hope you guys can all join.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Wow, what a resume y'all have. That's so inspiring and awesome. I love it. Okay, and then we'll move on. What did you think of the film? Did you feel connected to it at all? Anything sound familiar? I'm thinking that probably it did. But we can go down the line, or if anybody wants to pop in feeling inspired. Here, we'll hand it off. You know what? We're going to do it too. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, so what did I think about the film? Yeah, there's a lot in that I can relate with. I was watching one of the women when they were having the panel in the front, and they were saying how, I order a beer and my boyfriend orders a Coke, and they were to right away. There we go. That was one of the things I can relate to. A lot of the other times too is just basically when you're at a craft brewery, and there's a lot of times when people will like to tell you what you like to drink. And I know what I like to drink. If I'm up there, trust me, I'm going to go for what I like. I don't need you to tell me what I want to drink. But yeah, that was one of the things I took away.
Yeah, I totally agree. The concept of girl beer came before we'd even opened. My partners are all men, and they were like, "Oh, well, we have to have some girl beer." And I was like, "Okay, so you..."
No, they didn't.
They did. And I said, "Okay, there's no such thing as girl beer, and if you ever say that in the presence of customers or any other employees or people, I will have a problem with this." So, yeah, like the concept of girl beer is just so funny to me, because everywhere you turn, like, you will have that stereotype diminished. So it's really important to treat people as people, and I think we're all trying to get this at this point, and that's a really good thing.
Yeah, for sure. I totally related to some of the women in the movie. And I mean, I've had a ton of different experiences, especially being on the production side. I'm incredibly outnumbered. Being in the position that I'm in, I think there's less than like 5% of us in the world that are, female and brewmasters or director of brewing ops. So I have, of course, encountered all kinds of situations like what was represented, but I'm also a woman in the world, and there are, I mean, it's especially now kind of getting shittier to be so. I am fortunate enough to be white, at least, so there's some stuff that works in my favor. But yeah, the beer industry has been an incredible blessing, but it also has an underbelly, and it's not separate from the society in which we live. And so there is sexism, of course there's misogyny, there is racism, we don't even have statistics to represent the LGBTQ plus community because there's such little representation. So, obviously there's a ton to relate to, and we have a lot of work to do, and I'm going to pass the mic now.
All right, work to do. What are we going to do? I mean, we all got stuff to do. Anytime we see something, we got to say something. If it,
Heard that.
Let's do it. And I think for me, it's just I've been in the beer industry a long time, and I have a lot of friends who are men and women and everyone. But it is that being discounted in a meaningful conversation about the company that sometimes gets me. And I have to break the frame and call people out and say, you didn't listen to me. I said this, and this is what I think. And let's all just take a step back and think about that. But I have allies. So like Raj and Jeff, they're there with me at the table. And I know with Jeff one time, I was like, okay, so I'm going to bring this idea up. And if it gets passed over and they come to you, I want you to bring it up and I want to see how they react, right? So we did this. Like I said it and the conversation just kept going. And then Jeff said it was like, oh, that's a really good idea. He was like, Becca just like 5 minutes ago. You guys. And we were all laughing, and it's breaking that frame. In a way, it's learning how to call people out or call situations out or addressing it immediately, that you together can work toward a better outcome. And that is a challenge. And sometimes I don't feel up for it. You know, like I wake up and I'm tired. I'm like, you gotta fight. You gotta fight as a woman sometimes in the beer industry, and you get tired and you feel like you're beat down sometimes. And it's getting up and it's connecting with women. And that's why it's so important we're all here today, because we need to connect. We need to support each other every situation we can, because we are together in this. And it's that little support when you like somebody's post, when you share it, when you reach out and you say you're doing something good, that means something. It keeps us all going forward. And that's something I've been blessed with in the beer industry and meeting the women up here. And moving forward together. So,
and then you got little old me, right? Well, little big me, right?
Yes.
So Becca's very passionate about the work that she does, and major shouts to our allies, all of the women up here that are supporting our initiatives. So then I walked into the craft beer industry, and I met Becca. And I approached Oak Park Brewery with this crazy idea. And I know we're talking about girl beer, but I walked in knowing that I represent less than 1%. I learned this after some time with the work that Raj and Jeff and Becca are doing at OPB. And once I learned what that statistic was, I walked straight into that brewery and said, hey, you guys want to make a beer just for women? And they're like, and I said it just like that, just for women. And they were like, all right, what you got in mind? I said, okay. Let's go, you know, and it's been history ever since, right? And so when it comes to girl beer, right, every single beer that's on the shelf, every single beer that's made, right, there's no fine line, right? There shouldn't be, right? But we know that in an industry that represents where 95% of it represents white male, right? We know what time it is. So as a black girl, young black girl, right, black woman coming into the craft beer industry, knowing that we represent less than 1%, I said, oh man, And knowing that our brewery is Black owned, I said, okay, we got some work to do, right? We've got to create space for those that are underrepresented, those that are underrecognized, those that don't think they even have a place in this industry. We've got work. We're obligated to create space. And so when I connected with Oak Park Brewery, and these crazy kids said, hell yeah, we're down. What? Yeah, we're going to make a brewery just for women, and we're going to create space for Black people in the industry. I said, oh man, it's time. It's go time, you know? And so I've had a lot of fun over the last, I would say about 2 years now. But it has been a little bit challenging, right? Where we go, okay, we understand that we represent less than this 1%, right? So trying to get people that look like me out at breweries or out at events like this, it can be challenging. So I do encourage all of you guys that if you're like, hey, friend, you want to come with me to Drake's? You want to come with me to OPB? You want to come with me? Invite your friends, right? We like beer too. We want to have a good time. We want to make change, right? And so to be able now, right, as a Black woman, to be able now to walk into Drake's or OPB or any brewery and feel that I have a space for me, that I'm a little comfortable, I'm like, all right, we're making some change, okay? That the work that we're doing is not unrecognized, you know, and that makes me feel good. I'm getting chills up here just thinking about it, talking about it, but being in this space, I'm like, okay, I've got to own this space. I've got a job to do, and I'm not taking it lightly. So again, I encourage please encourage your friends to come out, right? When it comes to girl beer, every beer is girl beer, right? But specifically, right, OPB's got a beer that's entitled, this one is for her. This one is for her, okay? And I mean, we re-releasing it August 5th, so if you guys want to come hang out, please do. Okay, all right, passing the mic.
Watching this film, what I saw was a lot of women who were talking about their experiences through different interactions they had, and it seemed like the core of those interactions were people not trusting the woman and what she was experiencing, not trusting that she was like a fully formed, sentient being who had ideas, opinions, motives of her own. And I say people because, like they said, it's men and women who are perpetuating that notion of like, do you need help? What about this? Here's my thought for you. And not letting the woman speak on her own. And it's the truth. Like, the biggest thing that I felt being in the craft beer scene as like a person who's been kind of visible in the local craft beer scene has been trying to put trust back into women for what they're doing and what their knowledge is, what their thoughts and opinions and wants and needs are. Like, that's so important. And so these women deserve to order a beer and to have no questions about it, no second thoughts. So love to see that.
I love that. That's all amazing. We don't have to pass the mic on this one. I think everybody's body language will probably answer the question visually for the crowd here. Men in glassware. I think we've all encountered someone who gets a little touchy if there's a stem on that glass. So it goes down to just, even just the most finite details. And I can't tell you how many times I've been tableside and have been like, okay, the history of glassware goes back really, really far. They're all specifically designed to give you a different experience, even down to the beating of the lip. It's going to deliver the beer specifically onto your palate a certain way. This one has a headroom. You're supposed to smell it first. Like, and then I get stiffed, right? Yep. So let's move on to the next question. What are your thoughts on the current state of the industry? And what do you hope it becomes?
Oh, dude, I have so many thoughts and so many hopes. Like I said before, we have a lot of work to do. We are so white, and we are so straight, and we are so male. We have so much work to do. But we're doing it. We're doing it. We are actively engaging in this work at all levels. So that's something that I'm happy with. I mean, we're up here, and everybody up here is actively engaged in this work.
We are, but who else is?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It gets a little bit exhausting if I'm being real. I'm fortunate enough to have a team of amazing people that work at Drake's, especially on the production side, and they're all about this too. We can't divorce ourselves from the world in which we live, and there's so much to do in this country. The systemic issues that affect our country affect our industry, but we're like 10, 20 years behind. Oh, yeah. Craft beer was birthed in privilege in the United States, right? It was birthed in privilege. Unless you had mommy and daddy's money, or you had the privilege to be able to walk away from college and take that little nest egg and then invest it into a brewery 20, 30, 40 years ago, you were not, craft beer wouldn't be here. It was birthed in privilege. It is not a level playing field. Not everybody had the access. And so because we're an industry in the United States and in the UK that originated from that privilege, that seeps into the very pores of what we do. And so that is what we are working against on a regular basis. That is what we have to change. We are in a nation that has systemic issues. We are in an industry that perpetuates those issues. And so we have to look ourselves in the face every fucking day. We have to do the work, and we have to acknowledge the fact that we came from this place and demolished those systems. We have to make this space, and it's not up to her to make this space. It is up to us to create this space. I think about it. You have to put your fucking arms out and spin in a circle and then get out of the fucking way and let other people get in the space. That is what we have to do. And that is what we have to engage in. And yes, it's radical, and yes, it's uncomfortable, but that is what that's what we have to do. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, radical, my favorite.
She's really a tough act to follow. Well, okay, so I have a couple of thoughts.
Yes.
One is, as a person who started my own brewery, I didn't have to face the adversity that a lot of people have. But knowing that I didn't have to face that doesn't make me less responsible for clearing the way for other people to come in and claim their space in this industry. I think it's all of our responsibility to stop hiring people who look exactly like us and have the exact same experience that we have in life, and to put people into a role that we look at them and think, well, that's what they're capable of, or that's going to be their talent. That's not the growth mindset that we all need. So, yeah. Yes. I'll leave it at that.
No, I'm just gonna say, like, your passion and all, amazing. I would say double yes on that. And then Teresa, just bouncing back on what you said, I mean, that's exactly true. We can't just keep hiring the same type of people. Anybody can do what we do, but we also add a nice little touch to things too. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay.
Don't let it get stuck between us.
No, it's good. Because you know how we do. We know how we do. Very passionate. First and foremost, I just want to say I appreciate everybody being open to this question, right? Because I'll be honest, I can be honest tonight, right? Okay, cool. So even though, right, I want to dominate this space in the craft beer industry where I'm like, hey, OPB, man, we gotta do something. We gotta create this space. So for those that look like me, I'll be honest, every single time I walk into a brewery, I'm like, oh shit. I'm so uncomfortable. Friend, where are you? Do I recognize anybody? I'm hella uncomfortable, right? So when it comes to breweries that are willing to take the stands absent of me, right? Because those that know me personally in the audience, you guys know I'm not shy, right? I'm the one person that's gonna be like, all right, we're about to ring the alarm, okay? You know, and I'm willing to be that person that can make the sacrifice, right? For those that follow after me, right? And so when breweries take a stance, right, absent of me, so that I'm not that person that has to be the sacrificial lamb, right? I'm like, oh my God, look what they're doing, right? Like I can walk into their brewery and I feel comfortable just because of what they represent as a brewery, right? It changes the game. It really changes the game, right? So outside of me, right, outside of what I represent in the brewery industry, right, I have friends, right? I got Asian friends, I got Mexican friends, I've got, right, all these extensions of color, right, where I'm like, hey, brewery, right, like, or hey, community, this brewery is like accepting of us, we can come hang out here, they listen to our type of music, right, and all that type of thing. It's a whole community that kind of follows me, right? So it's like when breweries are able to make that stance outside of, you know, little big black girl that comes through the door that says, hey, you guys should be taking DE&I seriously. You should be creating space for that, right? Absent of me having to say that or anybody on your team having to say that and you guys taking the stance yourself is a game changer, right? It makes me the little black girl that goes, oh my God, look what they're doing for us, right? And I'm not talking about, right, just the commercial, it's Black History Month, let's go ahead and add green, gold, and red to the label. I'm not talking about that, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about those that really embody
Can you
the
say
spirit.
what DEI is for those that don't
Oh
know?
yeah, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, DE&I, right? So I'm just gonna say it right now. If those that are business owners that have desire to be business owners, brewery owners, things like that, if you're not thinking about a pathway where you can create space for DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion, you can guarantee that your business is not going to be successful, right? In 2022, right, you have got to be intentional about creating that space for us, right? Because Gen Z, I don't know if y'all know, but they ain't nothing to play with, okay? Like, they want that space, right, for diversity and things. So I say all that, I know I'm a little long-winded, but I say all that to say when it comes to a brewery or an organization or a group of people or a person that's like, I want to create this space without someone that looks like me coming to you and saying, hey, you guys should do this. It's really a game changer. You transform into that ally, and now I can bring my friends here because I know they're going to be taken care of, right? I know Drake is going to take care of my friends and people that look like me, right? So we appreciate that, and we need more of you to own that space.
And so, like on the state of the industry, we're talking a lot about what we can do in the industry to try to make these spaces, to bring people in who look different, feel different, experience different. But then as customers, like, please seek those spaces out and use your dollars to explain that that's what you want to see. Ask those questions, like, look for those spaces and please go there because it brightens up that space. It means that more people get to see it shine and we get to put a spotlight on the people who are doing it right.
And let's just talk about the spaces who've done that right now with their code of conduct, because we know Urban Roots and Crooked Lane in the Sacramento area, they were like the two breweries who rolled out a code of conduct and brewed Brave Noise, along with that whole thing that went on with Rat Magnet and giving people a voice and a space to tell their story. And they both have a code of conduct and rolled it out, and they brewed Brave Noise. We recently did that, OPB. We rolled out a code of conduct and brewed Brave Noise. and it's continuing, but that's something that it shows people that what we stand for and how people should act when they're in your establishment and treat people fairly and respectfully. So cheers to Urban Roots and Crooked Lane. They were like the first two in the Sacramento area. And Drake's, you have been doing amazing things for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Devo, like, we look up to you, and it's amazing to meet with you and talk with you and plan together. We have all met at different times, planning for the future and how we're going to change things. And like anybody in the audience who wants to be part of changing things, we need your support. We need you to be there. We need to work together because it takes an active effort. And when I say 2 Sacramento breweries, I'm telling you like 2. There's a lot of breweries here. Why are there not more doing a code of conduct? What is going on? So this is something I have to say that we're doing a podcast, the Craft Equity Collective. And you can find it when you look on like different, pull out your phones, look for Craft Equity Collective. But we just did a series on code of conduct, speaking with experts about how you create one, why you should create one. We talked about turning HR on its head, because that is a organization within companies that is really business resources rather than human resources. And things seem to change, and what breweries have been looking at that and changing things on their own. So check it out, and be part of this. So if you want to be part of it, talk to us after this. Reach out to us at OPB, at Drake's, at Urban Roots, because we gotta get together and change some stuff.
I love that so much. And it's amazing, it's the power of the purse, right? You throw your money and you show very visible support for who is doing things that align with your own values, right? I do think it's also important to be loud and stand up to those and call out those who aren't doing it and being like, you know what? Taking your beer off my taps. You're not here anymore. You're not welcome here. I don't like what you're doing, and now you're gonna get pinched. I'm gonna dump your beer down the drain, I don't want that. I'm a 5 foot girl, and I've been in front of a bar that has 64 taps, running back and forth. And I'll have someone come up and be like, "So where's the bartender?" And I'll be like, "Have you seen a single face behind this bar all night? It's me," And and we have to be loud like that. And I'm, like I said, a tiny person. This is as loud as I could have gotten about this issue, because I've had people be like, "Nah, that's just how it is." And I said, "Absolutely not. We're not doing it anymore." So thank you so much for, everything you've done. I love the podcast idea. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. It's this right here, this was made for the beer community, for women in the beer community. And the more people who are latching onto these ideas, there's no more room to not change anymore. Change or die. And if you're trying to die, I'm not going to fight you, dude. It's not my place to debate you if you're going to die, I love it. I love it so much. Shameless plug time. And I know we've kind of touched on it, shameless plugs. I'm going to start off and say we have a GoFundMe. We did have the QR code, but we will have it on our Instagram as well. Help us spread the word, help us get to more breweries and have these experiences with the community and then the people who are in their community. So when you have customers come in, they're like, "I know exactly who you are and I love what you do, and take my money, please." Go down the line, tell us, what programs you're running, what specific things that you're doing to change the industry in your space. I know we kind of touched on that a lot, a little bit. Any events you have coming up, to promote that diversity, the podcast. Let it rip, let them hear it.
All right, so I enjoy a megaphone, and I went and found the biggest beer megaphone I could find that I could be a part of, which is the Brewing Network. If you are homebrewers, you might have heard of it. It's a beer-related podcast, and I jumped on as the co-host. So check out the Brewing Network. crookedlane.com. We've got a lot of fun events coming. We're going to celebrate. We go huge for Oktoberfest because we make all kinds of German beer styles, especially lagers.
Award-winning. Don't be shy.
Thank you. And we have some fun events in August too. So check our website, all that. Yeah, so I just want to explain. So on the Brewing Network, this has been around for 15 years, and it's the most, it's a very male-dominated thing, and it's almost like you can't even listen because you can't get past the misogyny, I learned a lot from this because I was a home brewer, and there was tons of great homebrew information, but I was like, boy, if this thing had a woman on there who understood beer, it would be so much better. And so it became my goal to become part of this, and it's worked out amazingly. So it's been a couple years. The COVID kind of messed up everything with everything, but we're still doing the podcast. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there in case you listen to an old episode and you're like, the misogyny is too much for me. Just keep listening. Keep going into the future. It gets better.
That's what I was saying. Know what the Brewing Network is, and that's amazing that you're on there. Because I used to listen to it all the time, but there was never another woman on there. It was always men, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's nice to hear that you're on there. That's amazing. I'm gonna have to check that out. So you said events going on in our brewery. Yeah, what do we got? We are in July. Well, the only thing I can say about fun, we did win a stout. We won our year 6 Imperial Stout at the California State Fair, and we also won our Tunnel Vision, which was a Pub Ale, 4.7%, super light, crushable ale, and we won that gold as well at the State Fair. So, yeah. So it was very, very cool to hear because it was also a stout, and then there was, Tunnel Vision, which, again, Pub Ale, but both delicious beers. A lot of people really like them. Events coming up, we have, we're on Instagram a lot, so we're always posting. We've got live music, or we do bingo night, trivia night, and those are always fun. We do that weekly.
Is your Pub Ale still on draft?
Of course it is.
Yes,
of course it's still on
okay.
draft. Yeah, no, it is. It's
Not
definitely
even
on draft.
after.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, we have it available in 4-packs as well.
Just for you.
All right, so you're here, so continue to spend your money here. Come and enjoy. The barn is beautiful, and we have some of the most impressive staff on the planet. They're really rock stars. They're amazing. Yes, you should clap loud. I am also incredibly biased because I think that we have the best sales team, we have the best brewers, we have the best everything. Sorry guys, but I'm going to be biased here. So yeah, continue to come to Drake's. We have some stuff coming up, but one of the things that I want to focus on is we are actually, this just came out, we are going to be the beer sponsor for Oakland Pride. So September 11th, 10th and 11th. And we will have an exclusive beer that will be released probably quarterly. Called Pride Fest, and those funds from that beer will be given directly to the organizers of Oakland Pride, and because people need to live their whole lives in their whole damn selves, and we are all about it. And so that is something that is coming. The beer is gonna release on August 17th. We're gonna have
It's my birthday!
August 17th. At the dealership, we're actually going to have a pre-party kind of thing, and then there's going to be a massive block party in Oakland, and you will get beer here, you will get beer at all 3 of our retail locations, and on the 10th, September 10th and 11th, all Oakland Pride locations will have Drake's beer. So that is what's coming, and that is where I would like you to spend your money. We do a lot of work at Drake's. And on a national level, on a state level, and on a city level, to really change the face of this industry. I'm not kidding. Their change needs to come, and we engage in that work actively. So when you do spend your money at Drake's, know that we're doing something with it. But we also need to pay our people, so.
So Brittany's going to be talking about a big event we have coming up in October, and I just want to say thank you so much for being part of this. And if you're in the industry or you're a woman who likes craft beer and you want to be involved, you want to make changes, just come talk to us afterward, you know?
Yeah, so thank you for that. So I'm going to echo those statements. Those of you that are, because sometimes we need a little extra nudge, you know what I mean? So if those of you who are sitting in the audience hear this later, whatever, and you're ready to get in the industry and you're ready to create space, come holla at us. So upcoming events, we do a lot of, this might be a biased opinion, like you just said, Devo, but we do a lot of amazing work at OPB. We really do. We make great beer. We host a ton of amazing events, but one event that we have coming up, and you guys don't want to miss. So if you got your phones, pull out your phones, put it on your calendar, October 8th. The People's Harvest Time Jubilee. It's a celebration of those that represent less than 1% in the craft beer industry, right? So last year it's an extension of the People's Beer. People's Beer is that's right, yeah. People's Beer is the first Black-owned brewery in the U.S. And so an extension of People's Beer is this event that we put on annually to create space for the less than 1%. So last year we celebrated home brewers, we celebrated Black-owned breweries, those across the nation, and connected with, major shots to Raj at OPB. Yeah, absolutely. Raise your hand, Raj. Yes. So major shots to Raj. Single-handedly connected with breweries all across the U.S. So you can imagine, because we represent less than 1%, right? There's not too many of us across the U.S. And my guy reached out to every single brewery, home brewer across the nation, and invited them to this Jubilee, right? So we did it last year, and we're going to bring it back this year, right? So again, last year we encouraged breweries, right, to connect with home brewers. October 8th, yeah. So if you're not following OPB on Instagram, what is you doing, baby? Come on, OP Brew Co. Follow us, because you can keep up with not only our specials that we have coming up, and our events that we our community events and all that amazingness, our collaborations, but you'll be up to date on the Jubilee that we're having, right? Because like I said, it's not just about, drinking beer and being outside. It's really about creating space and increasing 1%, right? Being intentional about making more space for those that are unrepresented in this industry, right? So last year was super fun. This year it's going to be even bigger and better. Tickets will go live on our website pretty soon here, within just the next couple of days. So you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. The beautiful thing about this event is that you can come out and you can see home brewers that are aspiring, right, to step into the commercial game, right, and what they're doing. You're able to go, okay, hey, I see you're doing this, and you're able to provide recommendations or feedback or whatever, right? So they're able to step closer to their dream. And that's really, like, when it comes to purpose and why we're on this earth, right, if you can kind of push someone closer to their dream, then right? Like, you've accomplished the goal, So that's what the Jubilee is really all about. If you're, like I said, if you're not following OPB on Instagram, please do. OP Brew Co. That's an event that we have coming up. But outside of that, that's in October. So until then, we've got the Her World beer release coming August 5th. So make sure you guys are in tune with that, right? A beer created just for her. And if you want to learn more about Her World and what we're doing over there, then visit our website at herworldxo.com. Outside of that, we also have the podcast. So if you're like, man, if you're sitting in the audience right now and you're like, Brittany, I can't make it to the beer release. I got too much going on. I got a long list of to-dos. I can't come out. I can't come to the Jubilee. I don't know what to do. what you can do is you can support the podcast, right? If you are in the craft beer industry, if you work for a brewery, if you're in management, if you're ownership, right, whatever role you play in the craft beer industry, you can get some very valuable information from this podcast, right? So with this podcast, you're able to learn the importance of a code of conduct. Why are we creating that in business, right? Even as a small brewery, why are we creating that? What benefit is that to the employer? What benefit is that to the employee? How does that empower, right? Or how does that separate your business or brewery from the next, right? We're talking a lot about that. We're talking about the different resources that you can apply to your brewery, right? Or that you can implement at your brewery, right? So that your staff feels supported, that your employee, everyone that's connected with your customers, everyone feels supported and know that there's a space for them in the industry, even though knowing those that look like me represent the less than 1%, right? From that podcast, you can even learn how to create space for someone that looks like me, right? The language that you should use with someone like me, right? Because I swear to God, if you use some language like, I don't know what you know what I'm saying? Like, what's a girl beer? What's a girl beer, right? You know what I'm saying? That can possibly create a negative situation for your customer base that you're trying to create space for, right? So if you're like, Brittany, I don't even know what to say to them, right? You can connect with this podcast and figure out that language so that you're able to create the connection versus creating the distance, right? Or contributing to the distance that we have between us. So I say all that to say that I know y'all got your phones out right now. So Craft Equity Collective, I want you to download the podcast. We just dropped the episode last night. Follow us on Instagram, craftequitycollective.com. Craftequity.com. Type it in, you'll figure it out. We've got Urban Roots interviews. We've got Crooked Lane interviews on there. Devo's coming on. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about girl beer on the podcast. So all of us, right? All of us that are sitting up here, right? Phone it in absolutely. Please do, right? That we can make that happen. Please do. Yeah. So again, this is a platform, a resource that everyone is able to take and create better space. Right, that's what this is for. It's not about. It's about actively creating a better space, right, for those that are in our community. So I'm going too long, so I'm gonna pass the mic. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. We look forward to all the new subscribers on the podcast. We'll talk to you soon.
So you're just here giving all the answers. Any questions someone's ever had? But how? But what? She got it for you. Get on the podcast. Come on. I want to re-highlight for people who maybe heard some of us say brave noise, code of conduct. Like, what does that mean? Where did it come from? Please go look up Brave Noise, the movement, the fundraiser that it was, the story behind why it started, and what it led to, which was a code of conduct and an ask of breweries across the country to create and implement one, and why it's significant. It's a really long and complex story that started a couple of years ago, but it is so important to women in the industry and creating spaces that feel safe and secure for us here. So please look that up. Thank you.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you. Can I give one more plug? Not for drinks. No, go for it. But this weekend, on Saturday, there is again in Berkeley, Everybody and Your Mama Beer Fest. It's hosted by Hella Coastal, which are dear friends of mine. The first Black-owned brewery in Oakland. And we also have our Session Fest, so if you want to double dip, come on. It's popping off in Oakland on Saturday. So, the 23rd. So I do want to plug somebody that is other than us, the Hella Coastal Fest. And it's, all Black and Brown owned breweries, all Black and Brown owned food trucks and vendors. Bring your kids, bring your dogs, bring your friends. So I think that's 1. It might be 12 at Rare Barrel, 12 to 6 at Rare Barrel on Saturday. So,
I just had a beer yesterday at Foxtail, with Helicoastal. The Zombie Army, brewed with 2 types of rice and mushrooms, cordyceps mushrooms, the Schwartz beer. Oh my god, that was delicious. Wow, highly recommend.
What's the name of the beer?
Zombie Army! Yes. Oh my god, what a badass name. Yeah. Anybody last call for the mic before I walk up? Oh, thank you for coming. Because honestly, like without you, this would be me watching this crying in my bedroom. So I really appreciate it. You want to get on here, Bia? Oh yeah.
Hey, can we please? Is this a sweet spot? I don't need to be in the light. Just my voice is enough. Yes, Mike. Okay. Hello.
No, in the light.
Is it? No.
Yes.
I don't need to be in the light.
Yes. Step into the light.
Hey, I just wanted to thank Marena for putting on the show, please. Give her a round of applause. You're incredible. You need to be in the light. There it is. There's the light. That's what matters. We were extremely grateful that you approached us about showing it here. We were thrilled to see about what the concept matter was. So bless you. Yeah. Like, thank
shout
you
out to
very
Paulina.
much. Fuck yeah. And shout out to Paulina right there. Yos. Thank you, Paulina, for connecting us. God, what's your official title? Market manager for Sacramento area for Drinks Brewing Company. Let's go. Also, she is the chapter president of Pink Boot Society for Women in the Beer Industry for the Sacramento chapter. So give it up, Paulina.
Go. Awesome. I love it.
Dope. Thank you, ladies, for all coming out tonight. I just wanted to give a huge thank you for participating. Thank you for showing this documentary here tonight. Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it. Shout out to all powerful women doing things that nobody expected of us, okay?
You all are an inspiration. And God, okay. All right. No,
Get emotional.
no,
Let's do it.
God damn it. Yeah. Solidarity forever, you know? They can't. Oh, they're not gonna get. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.